Good afternoon, everyone. Macular hole surgery has seen several modifications from the time it was first introduced to us in the early 90s by Kelly and Wendell. Their standard procedure was a 3-port pars plana 20-gauge vitrectomy, followed by a fluid air exchange and tamponade with a non-expansile mixture of air and C3F8, a 17% mixture, and the patient had to lie down prone for a period of 6 weeks, 6 hours per day for a period of 3 to 6 weeks, which was one of the most troublesome for the patient than the surgical procedure per se. Since then, we have seen several modifications. First came the modification of delineating the posterior hyaloid face by staining it with triamcinolone acetonide. This was a very good modification and improved the surgical results. Then came ILM peeling, followed by inverted ILM flap, and the difficulty was to keep the ILM inverted into the hole. The duration of tamponade came down from a period of 3 to 6 weeks to 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, and the positioning from a strict prone position came down to a sitting position with chin down, or a reading position, or no positioning at all. So we have seen all these modifications, and each of these modifications involves significant debates and controversy. Keeping this in mind, this is our humble effort to introduce a new modification which is simple, technically, less time consuming, and the patient has a very comfortable post-operative period. This is a short 2-minute video clipping with voice.
Demonstrate the efficacy of a modified technique of macular hole surgery without intraoperative fluid air exchange or post-operative posturing in a patient with a large stage 4 macular hole. This animation will demonstrate the basic concepts of this technique. The well of the macular hole is filled with a small amount of autologous gluconated blood clumps. After circumferential internal limiting membrane peeling, the ILM flap is inverted gently and nudged under the hole in multiple layers. The inverted ILM flap is layered over with autologous gluconated blood clumps. The blood clumps and the internal limiting membrane forms a loose plug closing the macular hole. The macular plug thus formed comprises of multiple layers of inverted internal limiting membrane sandwiched between 2 layers of autologous gluconated blood clumps. In this patient with a stage 4 macular hole, the completeness of the posterior vitreous detachment is assessed by injecting autologous gluconated blood clumps to delineate the PHF. As PVD is already present, the blood fills up the well of the hole and will form the first layer of the macular plug. Internal limiting membrane peeling is initiated using the layered autologous gluconated blood clump to delineate the ILM using the Finiciflex loop, and the tear is confirmed by staining with brilliant blue G. The internal limiting membrane raised by the outer rhexis is peeled off. The ILM around the macular hole is trimmed down and inverted gently into the hole and nudged under the hole edges. It is layered over with autologous gluconated blood clumps, therefore forming a loose 3-layered macular plug which will remain in place due to the presence of the sticky clotted autologous gluconated blood clumps. The OCT images demonstrate restoration of the outer retinal integrity by the end of the first postoperative month.
I'm happy to inform you that this paper on 26 patients who underwent surgery by this procedure has been accepted for publication in the Retina, and it will be coming out in the next issue. I thank you very much for your kind attention. This procedure has neither fluid air exchange nor gas tamponade and no positioning for the patient in the postoperative period. We have done so far on actually 36 patients. The publication is on 26 of these patients. We have followed for more than a year. We have had luckily 100% success rate, and Vision has improved the functional criteria for improvement was a 2-step improvement in visual acuity and a hole closure, which we have been able to achieve. It is a type 1 closure. The hole is totally closed. What happens is that when you invert the internal limiting membrane into the hole, it will act as a scaffold for tissue proliferation, and it closes the hole. It gives a very good appearance to the macula postoperatively. I prepare the autologous blood just when I'm starting the surgery. My anesthetist takes it from the antecubital vein And then we add to 1 cc of the autologous blood, we add 2 cc of 5% dextrose. So that clots the blood. So what we are getting is a finely divided blood clot which we are layering over the macula. So it remains in place. So even when we are using suction in the vitreous cavity, the blood remains in place. Enough blood for me to delineate the posterior hyaloid or to do the internal limiting membrane peeling. Ideally, the entire surgery can be done using only the autologous blood. You don't need tricot or you don't need a stain. We don't have to worry about losing the flap. The flap sticks there. No, you don't have to worry. Actually, it's a good thing. It serves 2 functions. The first function is that it releases tissue factors which may in fact help in the closure of the hole. And secondly, if you're doing an inverted ILM flap, it makes the flap sticks down. Otherwise, if you have seen when you're doing a fluid air exchange, the flap gets dislodged from the hole. And there are at times when the attachment of the flap to the edge of the hole is so thin that the flap tears off and you cannot achieve an inverted ILM flap technique. So this really helps. And to prevent losing the flap, I perform a double rhexis. The outer rhexis, I do a very wide rhexis from arcade to arcade so that there is no tangential traction on the macula. And the flap that is raised by the outer rhexis is peeled off and removed. And the inner rhexis alone is inverted into the hole. No fluid air exchange, no gas tamponade, no positioning.